Hi everyone, it's Leona with Leona's Designs, and I am here today to do some tea bag art with you. I did a video yesterday on a tea bag cross, and I had hoped to do the running rabbit in that video also, but I ran out of time. So I said in that video I would make a part 2 and show everyone how to do this running rabbit. This running rabbit, I drew this little running rabbit template, and I did create him out of a pomegranate tea bag yesterday. And I showed how I did that yesterday, but I will show you today how I'm going to create the background for him. He's just on a piece of muslin right now. But I wanted to do some kind of a background, and I thought, why not do tea bags for the background? So I have this tan, kind of brownish tea bag that I previously had ironed down onto some heat and bond, which is how I created him. He is ironed down onto some heat and bond, the pomegranate tea bag. And so I thought this could maybe be the ground that he's hopping on. And then I have this turmeric tea bag, which is kind of a yellowish, mustard yellow color that I thought might go nicely in the background. Like that. So this tea bag here, I need to iron down onto the heat and bond. So I was just going to show you right now how I do that. I've got the heat and bond here. Heat and bond is an adhesive, and this side is the rough side, and then the back side is the paper side, which covers the other glue side. So you can use it for making appliques. And what I do for these tea bags is I lay them down on the rough side, the adhesive side, and then I cover them with a piece of parchment paper, and then I iron it down. But right now I'm going to cut this to size because I don't want to ruin all the rest of this heat and bond, because once you put the iron on it, the glue is gone. I'm just going to trim it down here to the size of this tea bag. And then I'm going to put the parchment paper over the top. Once I get it situated here. And then I'm just going to iron it down. And the tea bag will adhere right to the heat and bond. And what the heat and bond does, it stabilizes the tea bag and it makes it into almost like a vinyl material. If you're doing it with fabric on heat and bond, sometimes it can make the fabric a little difficult to stitch through. But with tea bags, they're so thin that they're still easy to stitch through. So there we have it. Even smells good. So now we will use this on our muslin piece. As soon as it's cool, I can take this paper backing off, and we can iron it right down to our muslin. If you can see, it's a shiny background, which is glue that's going to adhere to this muslin sheet. I'm just going to lay that right down. And then I'm going to cover it with the parchment paper. And I'm going to iron that down. I think it should adhere pretty quickly. Okay, so there we have it. Now I'm going to adhere this tea bag here. Take this paper backing off. And we have our ground. Put that right there. And iron that down. So now we have our backing for our little running rabbit, who we can also iron down. And I think he'll be very cute on that background. And then we can stitch around him, maybe add a little bit of grass and flowers, maybe a little bit of sunshine. We'll figure it out when I get to my desk. I'm going to iron him down, and then I'll meet you at my desk. Okay, here we are at my desk, and we're ready to start stitching. I'm just going to trim this extra tea bag that's hanging over the muslin square. And this is a 4.5 by 4.5 inch muslin square that I've appliquéd the tea bag background and the running rabbit to. So we're just going to stitch around the outside of him, I think just with running stitches, and then I will probably stitch the border and probably embellish maybe some little pieces of grass and some flowers. We'll see as we go along. What I did want to tell you, the reason I'm creating this running rabbit is because it's a fond memory I have of when I worked at a bakery in Amana, Iowa. If you haven't heard of the Amana Colonies, they're 7 villages in Iowa County, Iowa. And they were formed as a communal community in 1856. And they remained a communal community until 1932. Oops, one of my little tea bags popped up here. Guess it didn't get ironed down. But the reason for the running rabbit is when I worked at the bakery, I was the cake decorator at the main Amana bakery for 5 years. And the tinsmith for the community used to come in the bakery, and he told me the story of the running rabbit. And the story was that the tinsmiths of the communal community created these tin running rabbit cookie cutters. And each community at Easter time would bake running rabbit cookies for all the children. And as we kind of have heard that springtime is the time for rabbits, so I'm assuming that's why they chose a rabbit cookie at Easter time. I'm not sure if they did the Easter bunny or the Easter egg things, but they made running rabbit cookies. Maybe just because it was springtime. Because they were a very religious community. They had their own true religion, I believe they called it. But at the bakery, then I asked the tinsmith if he could make us a tin running rabbit cookie cutter, and he said yes. So he created one, and our bakery, every Easter we would bake running rabbit sugar cookies and sell them, and I got to decorate them. And they were just, this black thread keeps trying to get in my piece here. And I would just decorate them with white icing and a little candy eye. And they sold very well. They were a unique thing. So that's my memory of the running rabbit. And I happened to think of that because yesterday was Easter. So I thought maybe we could try to make a running rabbit out of tea bags. So I drew this little rabbit and put him on a pomegranate tea bag. And now we are creating a little 4x4 piece of art with him. So I'm just stitching him down. Can you see this? Maybe I better move it out some. Just stitching him down to the 4x4, 4.5 by 4.5 muslin block that's covered with tea bags. I'm going to just keep stitching all the way around him, and then I'll be back and we'll see what else we can do. Okay, I've stitched all around him and he looks pretty good. I think he just needs like a little black eye and maybe some stitching in black to kind of accent his features. So I've got this little piece of 2-strand embroidery floss. I'm just gonna stitch down here between his front legs a little bit. Just to accent that. Just doing some back stitches. Kind of right on that, oops, right on that line there. Drawn a line there to separate his legs. And my needle just doesn't want to get on that line. There we go. So I'm just going to, ooh, poked myself. Just going to continue doing these little back stitches to kind of define his legs and his face. If I can get my needle on that line. It's funny. Sometimes the needle goes right where it's supposed to. Sometimes it doesn't like to. So there, I think that makes it look better. And I'll put a couple stitches for his nose and his mouth. I hope everyone had a good Easter. People that celebrate it, that is. I always celebrate it, but this year we just didn't do too much. Family is all growing up and kids have their own places to go, and usually we have a big Easter dinner, but this year we didn't, which was okay. He's got a cute little nose there. And I'll give him a little happy mouse. And a little black eye. Be a little French knot eye. Hopefully I got enough thread left here to make one. It's kind of short. I don't mind making French knots when the thread's long. I think I'll be able to do it though. Yes. Got his little eye in there. Hope you could see that. I'm gonna probably need to get some more thread for his ears and his back feet. So I'm gonna go do that and I'll get right back to you. Okay, I got him all stitched, I think, as good as I can. And I'm now going to stitch some grass down here. Got some green embroidery floss, 2 strands. Just gonna do some straight stitches down here to kind of look like grass, just some long and short stitches. And then maybe I'll think about adding some flowers. Probably just a few French knot flowers. I'm not too familiar with flower stitches. I've seen there are those flower stitches. Can't think of the name right now. They look easy, but my problem is I watch those videos on how to do the stitches, and then when I go to do them, sometimes I don't remember because I don't practice and get it in my head. But I think that's looking good. Just going to continue making all these little green stitches to resemble grass. Because I don't think he's a desert bunny. Iowa's not a desert country. So we're going to just give him some grass and flowers. This looks kind of like a flower stem. Just going to continue on with that. Oh, Lazy Daisy stitch. That's the stitch that makes the flowers. So I could try that. I I think it's a pretty easy stitch. Anyway, I'm going to continue doing this, and I will be back when I start doing the flowers. Okay, I got all my grass done, and now I'm going to do a few little flowers. I think I'm just going to do French knots. I don't think these flowers are big enough for lazy daisies. But I'll do some 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 French knots. See how that works out. It'll be cute. Do a few down low. Thread's getting tangled up back here. What happened back there? Sometimes it's a mystery of how your thread gets tangled up. Feels like there's a knot right there. And there is. There, got it loose. Do another little French knot here. I've also got some gold thread that I think I'll make some gold flowers, maybe like dandelions. Dandelions are always abundant in March and April. Just to add some color. I'm doing like 5, 6 twists on the French knots. So I'm going to continue doing that and adding in some yellow, maybe red, just to give it some color. I would love to make a little Easter bonnet for the bunny. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not, but I think it would be cute. Maybe just a few little flowers up there. We'll see. I'm going to continue doing flowers down here, and I'll be back. Well, I've got all my flowers done. Did some pink and gold French knot flowers all through the grass there, and then I found this little tiny piece of fabric scrap, and I cut some flowers out of it, and I think I'm going to glue them down there just for a little decoration and make this bunny have some flowers in her hair. So I've been calling them a he, but I think I'm going to turn them into a little she bunny with some flowers right there in her hair. Just glue that down. And glue these down. Since this isn't going to be a wearable piece of art, it's not going to get washed, so we don't have to worry about that. I'm just going to glue them down right there. And I think that looks cute. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the sky. I think I'm just going to leave it. I was going to cut a little round sun, but could maybe use this yo-yo as my sun right there. That might be cute. I think I might sew that right there. And then I'm going to fix her nose a little better. It's just a little too pointed for me. So I'm going to... Okay, I got the nose corrected, I think. It looks a little better. It's a little more rounded. And I'm happy with how it turned out. I am going to stitch this little yo-yo or Suffolk puff down for the sun. So I've got the yellow sewing thread here. I'm just going to stitch that here in the corner. And I think that'll look cute. Just put a few little stitches there around the edge. My thread went right through. I'm going to pull it down a little bit so it's not right up close to the edge. So I am going to stitch around the edge. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope I inspired you to maybe create some tea bag art of your own. And I will offer a free PDF of this little running rabbit that I drew. I drew this little template. And if you would like to download it, I will have a link to a PDF in the description box below. You can download it and maybe make yourself a little running rabbit tea bag art, or even use some regular fabric to create one. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I would encourage you to subscribe. I will be doing another tea bag art video. I'm not sure what, maybe a feather or a turtle or a flower. But I am going to try to keep up this tea bag series of different colored tea bags and different kind of blocks. So if you'd like to be notified of that, please be sure you're subscribed. And thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and I hope to see you again soon.